family used to do in Portland. It's like
Okay. My name is Floyd, and my topic is from assumption. And this term was originated by the architect Floyd, and there are two examples of his work. So this is Bessie Hall, and for modern architecture, it means that the shape of the building or object should be based primarily on its intended purpose or function. So adding to the design is considered wrong. And as you can see, this is really plain and boring. So, and this is Carver. It's another example of modern architecture. So it allows the shape and organization of the building to be determined by its functional requirements instead of just looking pleasing to the eye mostly. And this is Ross Hall here on campus, and it's another example of modern architecture. So it's much simpler, flatter, and lighter looking than older styles of architecture. So the first car to follow the principle from Paul's function was the Chrysler Airflow, which is the one on the bottom. It was very streamlined, and it ended up not succeeding because other cars at the time, like the one on the top, were more visually appealing, and people preferred that. So these are cars from the Populux era of the 50s and 60s. They were a lot more successful, but modernists didn't like them because they didn't follow form follow function, because they were looking like rockets instead of cars. So these toasters go against form follow function because normal toasters would just be very plain and toast the bread very efficiently. So these add designs to the bread, which isn't necessary. And then also the one on the bottom looks like a teapot and not like a toaster at all. Okay, these washes go against form follow functions too, because a normal watch should just be able to show the time very clearly and not get in the way on your wrist. But these are more of a fashion statement, and they're very interesting to look at, but they go against their function. Okay, so heels go against form follow's function because they're very unpractical to wear. They don't protect your feet. They're very, very uncomfortable. And these examples also have unnecessary things added to them, like the bows and the extra straps. So the phone on the right, the touch screen, isn't necessary. Like, they're very easy to break, and the phone on the left, I had for like 5 years, and I abused it, and it still called and texting was fine. And these instruments, for form follows function, instruments don't need to be like painted or anything. They just need to sound well. And I've played on a painted piano before, and it sounded really bad because the paint got in between the keys and it messed them up. Okay, so these household appliances perform follows function. They just need to be able to work well. They don't need to necessarily look really cool like these do, but they do. It makes it more interesting, but it goes against form follows function. Oh wait, and these alarm clocks don't follow form follows function at all, because if it did, they would just be the plain normal alarm clock. But these are very different. So like the one on the top left, like you have to stand on it, and there's the one where you have to shoot at the starters. And these bookcases are really cool, but they go against form follows function again, because if they did, they would just be the plain normal bookcase, which would hold books very easily, but
examples that don't follow, like maybe throwing some in that do follow also, so just have to explain them so we can visually see it.
There was a kind of sameness to the fact that they didn't follow function because they had extraneous material, or they didn't follow the dictum because they had extraneous design or something like that. But there's a question sometimes, though, if the rest of everything, aside from that surface design on, say, the sunflower washer dryer, if that design were taken off, did the machine itself, was it laid out and was it designed properly? I'd say right now you can go and buy a lot of washer dryer sets that have them stacked up. And the function of lifting heavy wet laundry to put in another area or bending over to pick up the laundry, that's really bad for the human interacting with the machine. So that would be a question too. Do these things have knobs that are appropriately placed? Can you get the materials in and out of them, etc.? So there's more than just the business of extraneous design going on in some of these. Other questions and comments?
Do you have a bookshelf slide? I basically liked this one a lot because it was extremely broad how you could show the different types of bookcases. But I think maybe it would help if you looked at them in a different light than being like an extraneous design, because I think the bottom left one, that's fine, I'll see it. The bottom left one, I think actually could be fairly functional because there are problems when bookcases are too short to fit certain size books, and I liked how it shrunk down. I don't know, but overall, I really like what you had to say about all different kinds of bookshelves.
Yeah. Now, bookcases are a really tricky one because, to a certain extent, it depends upon the nature of one's library, et cetera, and how people are going to use the shelving, if they have lots of paperback books or if they have lots of big art books or something. But most home collections of books will have a huge variety of sizes. And I was with you, too. I like that bottom lower left one. I knew I could get my stuff in it.
Why did you cover so much of architecture and then allow the industrial design?
Those are the two main ones.
Do you know what you're applying? What in particular for industrial design are you focusing on?
Like the product design stuff, like the toasters and the watches.
Yeah, we need to speak a little louder here, too. What I would have liked to have seen back in the beginning when you started with the buildings, a little more of an investigation in that, because I wasn't really quite sure what it was you were saying about Carver. Yeah, people cheered when they built this building and thought, oh, look at that, it's so contemporary, it's even, and almost everything in the interior design of this building is stupid and wastes space and doesn't help in any way. Some of you have experienced that classroom over there where the two doors are set right next to each other, so you run into each other getting in and out of classes, etc. And that's done arbitrarily all over Carver. If you've been up to my office, you see that my doorway is in a little inset. There's enough space to make probably a dorm closet that's just totally wasted in order to put the office next to mine and my doors so they open right in front of each other, which means that if you leave your office door open, if you both leave your office door open to kind of welcome people, you hear everything that's in the other office because it's like having a phone line set up or something between the two. And it serves no function whatsoever except to make it difficult to move furniture in and out and to get this cart in and out every day. Carver was marvelous at doing a facade of modernism and like it was going to be a very practical building, but once you step inside, or even in some places try to get in the doorways, which are on the main doorways on the wrong level on the one side of the building, so they had to build this extra stairway out there. It's insane. It's really, people who didn't really understand the concept went after it. So I would have liked to have known just a little bit, were Sullivan's buildings really successful? Did the people, I've never heard this, did the people who actually inhabit them find that they worked well? Did you happen to read anything on that?
I didn't read into that, but I can look to the paper.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. It's a wonderful phrase, and a lot of the examples of it, though, don't work. I thought your telephone example was a great one, though. Yeah. Did you have a question up there, Kendra? Just pressing, all right. Thank you very much.